Hello, hello. So happy to see you here. Hello, Vintage Optimism. Hey, Trey. I am really kind of pleasantly surprised, and I guess pleasantly surprised. I didn't expect to do this tonight, to be quite honest with you. I was going to do a whole thing on intuition and trusting your gut, but something kept digging at me and pushing to do near death experiences, to be honest with you. And I could not shake it to the point where I felt really like I had to do it, guided to do it, pushed to do it, whatever. I had already started doing my thumbnails and everything else to do intuition and making decisions and trusting your gut. So I had to scrap it and start over. So I guess I'm following my intuition on this. So let's start the intro and go for the discussion. I'm so glad to see, Paranormal Witch Pixie here too. And we'll see who else comes in the room for these discussions. And hopefully I won't be the only one sharing. I hope everybody will either share their experiences, ask questions, whatever, open forum. Let's go. And we will start. Okay. I am being vulnerable. I have shared it on another forum. And I guess I felt safe to share it there because, I don't have a lot of subscribers yet either, but I felt safe to share it there because I didn't have a lot of subscribers on that channel. And I thought, well, it's okay. Go ahead and share it. But there may come a time where that scenario changes. So I'm really putting myself out there. And I guess I was always hesitant to share. I did share with a friend of mine that lost a child that started a channel on grief. Because I'm going to be honest with you, after I lost my son Noah, I was in a grief group. And most of us in that grief group have experienced some kind of afterlife connection with our child. Most of us have, and most of the world would not understand that. It seems to happen more with parents that have lost a child. I don't know why. Not saying that it doesn't happen with anybody else, but parents that have lost children seem to get more of a direct connection or some kind of connection or confirmation that the connection lasts or extends after death when they've lost a kid. They're afraid to tell people. So we all came together on a grief group, an international one, very, very large, huge. And we all began to feel safe sharing our stories, and it was really amazing. So he started a channel and asked me to come on and share my NDE. I was terrified. I almost backed out. It was short of having a closed session with a meeting that I had with a business. It was the first time I'd ever been interviewed online, short of being with Adam. And I was really terrified. So, like I said, I shared it on this other small channel, and I felt compelled to share it today. I hope I don't bore anybody, but we're going to open up and talk about these things. Some of you may have heard before, but when I was 12, I had moved to a new neighborhood. I didn't know anybody. There was an adjoining neighborhood close by, and oddly enough, from where we'd moved, the neighbors from where we'd moved, my mom was good friends with her. She said my nieces lived close by. They came and met us, older than me. One was 15, one was 14. At the time, I was 12. Very, very scrawny, skinny little kid. And I was shy. And they had invited me to come spend the night. They'd seen me get off the bus. And we were going to see some movie, scary movie, have pizza, play games, stuff like that. And I'm going to leave pieces and parts, and you guys can ask things later if you want. Excuse me. But they'd asked me to play games, and one of the games was called the Pass Out Game. Some of you may know about it, some of you may not. And the way they played was you would scoot down like a frog, you would hyperventilate, breathe really fast, in and out, and then you would jump up real quick in the air, and they would grab you around the diaphragm up in the air on an exhale and squeeze you as tight as they could where you couldn't breathe because you're on an exhale till you pass out. Being that I was so small, they could hold me up in the air for a long time. I'd pass out every time. They had a more difficult time with the other girls because they were their peers, they were bigger or the same size. So, of course, I was the easiest one to do it with. I wanted them to like me. I was the little kid, just had turned 12, new kid on the block, tiny, skinny. Everything kind of went okay till the next day when everything was winding up and they were like, oh, let's go to the part of that country club over there that they haven't finished on the golf course and play. And we did. We played one last time, or one little round of times. And the last time they did it to me, this much bigger girl wanted to prove herself. And she made a go of it with me. She goes really hard, kept me up in the air way, way too long. I passed out. Instead of letting go, she didn't. Apparently I started changing colors by the time she let me go. And what I can remember is leaving my body. When it initially happened, I don't think it dawned on me that I had left my body because I'm watching them shaking me and didn't realize it was me, I guess, shaking me and popping me on the face and yelling and a couple of them crying. And then all of a sudden I see my mom in the kitchen at our house, which is further away. And I see them still crying and carrying on. And then I see it's me. And then I see my brother, one of my brothers, playing ball somewhere. And my other little brother in a different place. And my dad somewhere. And I can remember being kind of confused because I can see the landscape of things. And the next thing, I feel like I'm going to get in trouble. And the next thing I know, light. Everywhere light. A cylinder of light. Like going through a ride at Six Flags, a shoot of light. I'm shaking. A shoot of light so blindingly brilliant and bright everywhere. So blindingly brilliant and bright. It's under you, through you, over you. It's everywhere. And moving and speed and overwhelming and moving and so blinding, but you can still see through it. It doesn't hurt your eyes. And before you know it, you feel this overwhelming presence. And I call it God. I knew it was God, or I understood or felt. Something switched in me and I just knew. I wasn't confused anymore. I call it creator, call it whatever your understanding is of something greater than ourselves. But I didn't see a person that you call God. I felt the light, this feeling, this overwhelming love and comfort and safety and immersion, like being the most safe and unconditionally loved, not worried, peaceful, that you've ever felt in your entire life. And it was this understanding. There weren't verbal words, but there were words. And it was like, how can I say it? A loud, deafening whisper, which I know is a conundrum. Deafening whisper, or an oxymoron, if you will. But the communication was there. And then were angels that felt sky high to me because they were so tall and the light around them was immense. And what we, in my experience, what we feel are wings emanate as light. They look like wings, but they're light. They're not feathers. They're wings of light, if you will. And they were around me. And I wasn't afraid of them. I was curious, and I feel like I understood that they were angels, but I wasn't really sure why I was there. I guess part of me was trying to figure out whether I was dead, but I didn't feel dead. I was more in awe of everything. This wasn't what I guess I would have expected, but I'm still in a brain of a kid. But I'm still in awe. It's hard to explain. It wasn't like I was trying to die. Do you get me? And so it's like I'm on the edge of something. And the next thing I'm shown is I get to peek out into a place where the colors are so deep and brilliant and nothing I have ever witnessed upon earth, ever, that make everything that we look at feel, how do I put it? Faded to some degree. Faint. Not as, there's not the depth or the richness or the, I don't even know if there's any words to try to describe it. Just real pure, pixelated, lit from within. And some of the colors I don't even think exist here, if I'm going to be honest with you. Every plant that you would never expect in one place exists in one place, all around. I saw a stream of water flowing in a direction. There are sounds that vibrate lightly from everything. Everything makes a vibratory sound. And you would think it would get on your nerves. It probably would here. But everything has a vibration in such a way that they all, I'm shaking, they all melodically sort of play together. They bloom together to create one song where it is so stunningly beautiful and such an essence that you are part of that melody. You are not this heaviness that you are there. You are a being, but also a lightness of being, if you will. And you can still hold a texture of color if you wish. Or you can still be light if you wish. And as the creek would flow from just a glance that I would get to see, my heart's pounding. Look, when you have something like this, I don't care if it happened when I was 12, I can still see it inside of me. When I can't remember what I ate yesterday, it's just hard to put it in the words it deserves, because in some ways there are no proper words. But as I saw that stream and that creek flow, everything, there used to be a commercial a few years ago, and it was a commercial to sell a television, and it had a hummingbird in it, and it was showing the colors, the HD colors this television would have. And all the colors were real brilliant and vivid, and they looked pixelated, like the color would shine out from under it. And that was the closest thing that I could see that would kind of describe, it's not close, but as close as, that would kind of describe what it was like for everything to be illuminated with color. But anyway, to go back, that stream that would flow, as I looked down it, there was a Greek-like building in the distance, and it had columns and ornate carvings in it, which, of course, to a kid, it's not going to make any sense. But it seemed like when I was there, I was more curious and aware and focused and wanted to ask questions. So you communicate. You don't have an airway, or you don't use an airway there. Of course, because your human body's not there, but you still communicate. You communicate with your thoughts, your consciousness. But I wanted to know what that building was, because I didn't know there were buildings. That didn't make sense to me. So the message I was given, when people are killed tragically on Earth in a way that's completely out of the blue, like their soul was not quite prepared, or their spirit, for lack of better. Let's say they're snatched out of their body really quick so they don't feel the pain, or they were killed tragically. They are taken to that building to be prepared, or for a form of healing. Yeah, buildings on the other side. I'll explain more in a minute. It's for a form of healing or transition. Sort of like, how can I put it? Um, you know how someone goes to a step down when they get out of a hospital? Or you know how someone might go to, let's say they go to a plastic surgeon and they get the boob job and all this other stuff, and they go to a transition, like a day spa type place to go through some healing before they go home, right? Or someone has been in ICU for a long time and they have to go somewhere in between home. It's sort of like that. To give their spirit the chance to sort of catch up to what has occurred. Because if a human person just tragically had something happen, it was my understanding that sometimes their soul can come and they were like, what the hell just happened? And think they're still on earth. I know that's confusing. I mean, I sort of kind of get it. We have these soul contracts, or we make a decision to go on earth and pick certain parents, etc., etc. And it's my understanding we have like 3 options of leaving the earth sometimes. But sometimes I don't think things are in our control because we're not in charge of everybody's free will. So if someone gets taken out tragically due to somebody else's badness that's operating too far into the dark, let's say it that way, they get to transition in this place to ready them so they'll know why they're there. Let me put it that way. Am I confusing people? I mean, I just wanted to know why the building was there. It's sort of like helping them to heal so they'll know why they're there. Heal from the traumatic entrance into heaven. When it's not something that was planned for in their contract. It's the only way I know how to put it. So I guess in my 12-year-old mind, that was enough. So as I'm seeing all of this stuff, I just didn't know why I was there. And the message that I got was I was to lead. Now, I'm hearing this in a 12-year-old spirit and still being connected to the world because it wasn't my time to die. I'm like, I can't lead. I'm not a leader. And then I heard I was to lead with love and kindness. I was to teach. And it wasn't like be a school teacher. This was more of an internal spiritual message. It wasn't a school teacher message. I knew that. I have always known that. And it was repeated to me. I was to lead with love and kindness. And the next thing I knew, and I felt like I hit the ground hard, but I wasn't hitting the ground. I was already, I felt like I was slamming back into my body. Transition period, yes. I felt like I was slamming back into my body. And all of a sudden, I'm waking up to screaming and crying and shaking, and we thought you were dead. We thought you were dead. And some of the girls cursing and carrying on. And I did not feel good at all. And then I was upset because part of me was like super confused, and the other part of me was scared to death because of how they were responding. So I got home as quickly as I could, and I didn't know whether to tell my mom or not. So I tell my mom what happened, and you could see the terror on her face. Of course, she's like, "You cannot go over there anymore. You cannot hang out with those girls anymore. Don't talk to anybody about this." What? Help me. Help me to understand. Because at that time, we didn't have computers. We did not have all this information. I didn't have all this understanding that I have now. I was a kid. This was during warm weather. So I didn't understand her response entirely. I wanted some comfort and understanding because I knew the magnitude of what I had experienced was not a dream. And I knew what they were saying and the looks on their faces was not just a bunch of hysterical girls. There were too many. And how my mom responded. It was like all of this fear around everybody, but nobody's talking to me about this. So I go to the library during one of my brother's YMCA games, baseball, because it was across the street. And I'm 12, guys, girls. I'm 12. I can't even explain to you now as a 12-year-old kid. I can remember that stuff that I saw, but I can't even explain to you how I ended up with the book I got. I just know I got that book. When I was 12 years old, I ended up with a book called Life After Life. The book was written by Raymond Moody. I lived in North Carolina. It told me about near-death experience, but also told me about out-of-body experience. I guess a librarian showed it to me. I don't know how I explained what I was looking for. I sure didn't tell her what happened to me. Maybe I explained. I don't know how I got the book. I can't tell you how I got that book. I just know I went to the library and that's the book they got me. So fast forward years, and we moved to Georgia. I transferred schools from East Carolina University to a university here. And I was still an undergrad, and I took a class, and it said, I don't know if I was still in undergrad or graduate school, one or the other. I think it was undergrad. It had to be undergrad. And I took one of the classes, and it said staff. You know, sometimes they'll do classes and they won't tell you who the professor is. Because sometimes I don't think they know who's going to teach till the end. And so I'm walking the class, and there's two guys that are going to be teaching this class. It is Raymond Moody, the guy that wrote that book. I was like, what? And it was William Roll, both of whom ended up being my mentors and later did some testing with me. But talking about freaky deaky, I spent a lot of time with Dr. Moody, and this is a lot of the reason that I was more clear on that. Instead of being an out-of-body, it was near death. I was labeling it the wrong thing. I was just calling it out-of-body. And later to find out and explore, and if Jenny pops in, she's had something close to it, but we are also able to have shared death experiences And I had a doctor and a professor of mine call to me to have me come to the bedside of someone in the midst of dying to have a shared death experience with her, as she could no longer communicate and her death was lingering on, to have a shared death experience with her to help her transition. And, woo, baby, I'm hot right now after sharing that stuff. And I'm sure I left things out. I am going to throw down the link. Some of you may have stories of your own that either you didn't know they were stories, you were afraid to share, or you have questions. As Shadra was asking about the buildings of the other side, let me address that really quick. From some of the things that I ask in my personal understanding, when you get to the other side, we are made of energy. If you wanted to have a home on the other side, because we are still energetic beings, all you would have to do is, out of energy, create a building. And to you, that building would feel real. It would feel like a 3D object and act like a 3D object and look like a 3D object. But it would be manifested and created energetically, if that makes any sense. And if you no longer needed it, you could make it no longer be there. That goes for everyone that goes to heaven, so to speak. Heaven is of the Creator's creation, but you are part of the Creator. We are all part of the Creator when we move to the other side. We are all a piece of the Creator, and we are all energetically connected. And we all energetically can create and be co-creators of our own paradise there, if that makes any sense. That is why you would see a building there. We all have jobs there. Now, it's not going to be a job here where we go to work and we hate it. It is going to be of the greater good. It is going to be something we're passionate about and where our love in our heart and soul lies. That is why many times when you hear people that are writing music, or they're wonderful singers or composers, and the stream of consciousness kicks in. And they will tell you, this song feels like it wrote itself. This book feels like it just wrote itself. This movie just came out of my mind in a matter of hours. It wrote itself. This painted itself. It just came out of here somewhere, I don't know. I can't take all of the credit. I give the credit to the Creator. That is why, in so many ways, we're being assisted. Some people may not believe that, in my experience, in my opinion, from what knowledge I have. You may believe different. I can only go on what I know and what I experienced. And my mom and I, and trust and believe, my mom is not ooh, that's my daughter, anything she says, I'll back it up. No, not that kind of mom. We were having a discussion about it the other day. And she's a hard one to pin down. And we were talking about my near-death experience. And I was blown away. I will never I will never, how do I put this? I held it in for years and years and years and years, too afraid to tell people. I'm not afraid anymore. And I will never backtrack on it. So if people believe me, that is awesome. If people don't believe me, that is your prerogative, and that's okay. That's okay. So, anyway, I'm so happy everybody's here. I am open to answer any question. And if you have a story to share, I would love to hear it. Or a question or whatever. There you go. And Jenny has stories to tell, but I don't want to tell her story. I would rather, when she's here sometime, her tell her story because it's hers. I will say that the shared death experience I had, this lady was like a mom to me, a second mom. And she was being pumped with morphine. She had bone cancer, and it started shrinking more than they thought it could even. But the pneumonia got to her quicker, and they had started administering morphine. And the second night of this, after everybody had made a circle around her bed and we loved on her, and she was aware then, but she still hadn't gone, and they called me in to I'd already spent a lot of time with her, but they called me in when she wasn't aware any longer to come in and hold her hand. And Dr. Shimram and another asked me to come in and do a shared death and go in with her because I'd had the near death. And I was like, what? What? Because I didn't even know this was possible. And they said they'd walk me through it. I was terrified. I was scared. I shouldn't have been. I loved her, but I'd never heard of that shared death experience. I knew what I'd had before, but she was lingering in that place so long. And so I loved her so much, and I trusted the others so much that I did it. So I went into prayer, and I talked to God, and I held her hand, and I called down the angels, and I went into the light. And I went into the light. And I could see her. And I could hear her. And she was standing in the light. And she had not made peace with one of her sons or an ex-husband in two different moments. So they had to go find her son. I came out of it. Whew, I'm sweating. And look, this takes a lot for me to tell you guys this. I just really want you to know. Hey, Jenny, God bless you. Hey, Jenny. And hey, Miriam. And hey, Kimfire. And hey, Shan. God bless you, Jenny, for being here. God bless all of you for being here. It almost takes more for me to tell you this part. I came out of it. They found her son. He agreed to come in to his mom that was not conscious and begin to talk to her in a closed room and love on her and share his love, she really did not, there was no forgiveness that she really owed him. But I guess she needed that connection. So then he left the room, and she still lingered and she still lingered. And that's when they called me in again. And this was the ex-husband. They searched high and low. They called the ex-husband and his wife. Trust me, that was a story, because that ex-husband married a student, left his wife. They agreed to come and see my one of my best friend, Amy, her daughter. She also had cancer. This is the lady like my second mother and my best friend. She also had cancer and twins. Anyway, they brought him. He went in there and made his peace. Left. And they called me back in and wanted me to hold her hand. Hold her hand. Go back into the light. And see if there was anything else. Because it had been a long time. And she was suffering. So, please know this takes a lot for me, okay? I go back into the light with her. The bright, brilliant, brilliant light. And she looked like she was 30 years old. 30. And she had a scarf around her neck. And she hugged me and kissed me on the cheek and took my hand and started walking towards the end of the light tunnel. And I went with her. And as we get to the end, I start recognizing. I start recognizing. And but all of a sudden, I see this horse-drawn carriage, but there's no horses, which is kind of funny because she was like a overgrown princess. At 30, she looked like a Disney princess, and it didn't have horses. It had angels, 4 angels around it, carrying this like Cinderella-like carriage. And when it opened up at the end of the light tunnel, her mom and dad and stepdad, who they looked young, were all in there with roses. And she loved me, hugged my neck, and began to ride off. And as she began to ride off, in the distance, everything changed. And like I told you, because we are able to manipulate what we want our heaven to be, because we're energy and we can manifest what we need, because we are able, we are allowed that. The next thing I see as I look back in for her is she, with her arms tucked around, her knees on a beach, her hair blowing, with a light scarf. And behind her is like this little beach house. And I know it's solid to her, but it looked like it was made out of light to me. But I know it's solid to her. And I know she's like way happy. Okay? So the next thing, I come out of it. It was time for me to come out of it. It was time for me to come out of it. And I did. And I told them what I saw. And that I thought I'd done what I was supposed to do. I was overwhelmed. Still, when I think about it, I'm overwhelmed, okay? And within a few minutes of me leaving her room, she died. So, her body died. Let's say that. Then the phone rings. It's her brother. He'd come to town, but he couldn't bear to be in the house and watch it. He'd gone to a nearby hotel. He called to check on her, and everybody said she just died. And he said he got upset, and he said he just had the weirdest dream. He saw her on the beach in front of a beach house, and she had her arms wrapped around her legs. She looked really happy. Said she had a scarf on, looked really young. And I knew that was her way of sending me a sign to let me know I wasn't crazy. Because I would be questioning myself if what I saw really happened. And then her son worked for a company that made the mahogany caskets or whatever, which I know is macabre. One of her sons did at the time. And I think they'd already ordered a casket. Somehow, something happened and the order didn't get processed or whatever. And they were trying to get the order right. And my friend Amy, who's now gone, her daughter, the heavy pages flipped, and she said it flipped over onto a casket that had 4 angels around it. And that's what they ordered. And when she passed, I can go get it out of my den. They removed one of the, I guess it's marble angels, and wrote on the bottom and gave it to me. Because I have a small collection of angels around my house, not gathered in one area, so it doesn't look weird, because of what's happened in my life. But anyway, that was the sheer death experience, and it happens. I never knew it could happen till then, but it happens. And these things happen to more people than you would ever realize. And it's beginning to happen more and more and more. Especially as the veil thins, as the years pass, and the more technology that we become dependent on and use, right, wrong, or indifferent, the veil becomes thinner. It does, it's true. And I don't mean that's a bad thing. It is what it is. So I'm going to drop the link again. See if anybody has questions. I'm going to look over the questions. I didn't mean to get so heavy or feel so emotional, but whoa, baby, it takes you back. It just does. Hey, Black Lavender, Trey, R. Petrick, JC Bear, Campfire Daily, Shannon Band, Paranormal Witch Pixie, Shadra. Let's see who else is in here. Ooh, I'm getting hot in this jacket. Jenny. Thank you. Miriam, Kim, and Kim, her Southern Fried and Gluten Free. You got to check it out. And she's got a new channel that the name of it is so beautiful. I know it's going to bring so much peace to everybody. Thank you, Kim. What is the name of your new channel going to be? I cannot remember it because it's new and I forget things. And Jenny has isn't it Girl Chasing 40? Or Girl Meets 40? I checked it the other day. You have not written in it recently. You need to. You write beautifully. Girl Meets 40. Girl Chases 40. Oh, Kim Taylor's new is going to be Fields of Grace. When you have near-death experience, you know right away that the body you see is you. I did not know right away it was me. Because for one thing, they were over top of me, slapping me and shaking me. For another thing, by the time I could get a peek of it being me, it had not registered with me, I don't think, what was happening to me. IG is Fields of Grace. Okay, her IG is Fields of Grace. So at first it did not register paranormal. YouTube is the same. Okay, good. Girlmeets40.com. She thinks she's hoarding her stories for a book. I am dropping the link again for anybody that would like to ask questions, share anything, or if they have any questions about life after death, anything. You want to ask questions? You don't have to worry or be concerned. Look, if I can put myself out there and say these things, trust me, I was scared of what people were going to think because it does sound crazy. But look, it happened. It happened. Now, they want to say that your brain is lack of oxygen to the brain, etc., 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 but she had let me go where I could breathe. There's scientific proof now that people can see while they're being operated on when they flatline. They can see people that are in the lunchroom, someone that's in the chapel, the doctor while he's doing surgery. When I went to have a hysterectomy, I could hear them talking when they were about to start to do surgery. Now, maybe I didn't have enough anesthesia. They, fortunately, could not finish that surgery and had to plan for operation number 2. And I said, look, last time you were about to do surgery, you started surgery, I heard you say XYZ. You might want to do something about the anesthesia. Now, that wasn't a near-death experience, though. That was just, they probably didn't give me enough anesthesia. But I'm just saying, we have a consciousness outside of this physical body. I have a book. Oh, I wish I had brought it with me and I could remember his name. I might look it up right now. Neurologist has NDE. I'll pull his name up real quick. Dr. Eben Alexander had an NDE. Hey, Jenny. I'm pulling Jenny up. And he wrote a book about it. Hello, beautiful.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I was like, my camera's just we're just gonna use the phone again, because so I don't want to have the crazy echo. But thank you so much, Dana, for sharing, because I think we were all just kind of in awe listening to you, and I know a lot of people really enjoyed that and got a lot out of it, and it's beautiful. And I mean, I haven't had a near death experience, but I mentioned before on I think I've mentioned before on YouTube that when my husband Pete passed away, I I had an experience where when I was doing the chest compressions, it was sort of a bit of an experience where I was doing chest compressions for about 25 minutes alone. And during that time, Pete was actually with me behind me. I didn't see him physically. I just was talking to him and knew he was there. And it was just so surreal how I knew that. It wasn't a question, it was just a matter of fact. Yeah, so it's definitely like, well, I don't know if he was that was his death experience and or out of body experience, but we were together in that experience.
Yeah.
It was kind of beautiful. I mean, it was actually how I knew and understood and was able to process what was happening. It was that realization that he's not in his body. This isn't going as planned, but I'm not alone.
Right. You
And
know
he
what?
wasn't
Also,
alone.
do you wonder if he did that so you would know that the relationship would continue in some way?
100%, because it was during that time that I also had visions of like past life experiences and things like that I had, and I didn't believe at the time in that sort of thing. So that's it. It was just an instant, huge knowing of information that was just a floodgate for me. That experience.
How different was it for you prior to that? I mean, your understanding of things.
Well, the interesting thing was it had been about a year that I had been trying to kind of understand the afterlife, and it was a journey I was searching to find out more about my father, who had passed away 10 years prior. And I was like, well, maybe I haven't healed from this. I didn't get to say goodbye, all those grieving stories you hear. And so for about a year I started looking into near death experiences, and it was just on YouTube and reading books. And the night Pete died, literally he passed away and had his heart attack right at 3:30 in the morning. At 11:30 at night, I was in bed just with the laptop listening to YouTube, and came across an experience about a past life. And I actually called Pete in the room and said, look at this. Like, it was something I had said had happened to me. So he was like, oh, that's really cool. And I almost wonder if all of these things happen for a reason, to make me understand, all at once, that there's more to this story. Just, it was kind of like there's more to this story. Just hold on, hang on, don't,
Yeah.
don't give up. Hang on. You're not alone. And you still have a connection here. And I held on to that and never, ever, ever had a second where that was a belief that I didn't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I had all of the trauma, like I had the grieving process, but in the back of, like, I always in my heart knew there's more to this, and I don't need to explain that to anybody. I just know.
Yeah.
So it was really beautiful for me, but it was beginning of the journey, I think, the year prior. And I was sharing my experiences of what I was learning about near death experiences and heaven with Pete. And he was like completely, before that, closed off to that sort of thing. And he was listening to me. He started listening to me. So I think that also was part of his experience, part of what I was learning, I was sharing with him the year he, passed away. So I think all in that moment, I don't think he understood what was going on, but he understood that we were together in it, and it was an experience that we were gonna have and learn more about. So yeah.
Yeah. And as hard as it has been to lose my child, um, I look back as a near death experience, and I never really, if they say all things for a reason, I never really understood why that had to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But then now losing Noah, it sort of makes sense because it I won't say it made it easier, but it has made me realize a where he is, and b that I can still have a relationship.
Exactly. Exactly. It's just this like, uh, you don't understand how you know, but you know, and it gives you that drive to keep going. I just realized my phone's gonna die, so I'm plugging myself in. Don't worry, I won't hang up. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's just this beautiful experience, and I don't believe there are any coincidences. The way it all worked out for me, I went through a year of really dark, suffering and grieving, but it was, when you look at the bigger picture and you just kind of step back, you're like, this is all making sense to me, how I was being guided through the whole process.
And I don't want people to get it twisted that we bounced back easy, or we didn't grieve, we
Oh
didn't get
no.
or we didn't get angry at God for a minute, or all of those human things.
Exactly. We're so human that that's why it's so beautiful and unbelievable. It's like when I see these experiences and these miracles every day, I just go, wow. And I'm like, why am I surprised by this? But you're in awe every single time because you've been in the dark and you've experienced that, and you just see the miracles in every single day. It's beautiful. And I really have a great relationship with Pete, and he's not even alive. Like he's in my opinion, he's still alive. He's just in a different kind of dimension, and it's just a different way of connecting with him. But it's kind of funny because he's got a sense of humor, and he never lost that sense of humor. And sometimes when I get the it's just the other day I was driving, I was getting the giggles, and I'm like, I could just tell he's sitting there trying to get me to laugh, and it was working. And that's what I'm saying is you're not alone. All of a sudden you get the giggles. Like, where does that come from? You know what I mean? It's so funny. And you start thinking of these things that they used to do, and you're like, where did that thought come from? And they're putting it there. And I don't know about shared death experiences. I don't really understand that, but I know that Pete and I did that together. He wasn't alone, when he passed, and I think that was really important.
And it is kind of profound in a way, because
Mm-hmm.
hold on, I don't want to cough your ear off. Hold on one second. I feel like because you're pregnant
Yes.
and
Let's not forget I was 5.5 months pregnant. I was doing those chest compressions for 25 minutes with dislocated ribs because the baby popped my ribs out 13 times.
yeah,
So I was just completely adrenaline.
I feel like he let you know he was there, even though he was out of his body, because you needed that support, and he put that knowing in you.
Yes. Oh, that's definitely, yes. I can see
Even
that.
though it wasn't in the way you, in the big picture of things, wanted it to be, it was the best way he could do it. And it is hard to explain to people. It is hard.
No, but it's true. It's Yeah, I mean, if the tables were turned, I would definitely want to do everything I could to let him know, he's not alone.
It's a knowing that you cannot explain, but you know that you know that you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it changed my whole world. Like, my whole world changed in that moment, not just because I lost my best friend and my spouse, but because I just all of a sudden I literally saw visions of like memories of memories. I just had memories all of a sudden of like past lives. And not only that, but like a future life where we were reunited. Can you hear Billy? He woke up again. It's 9:30. He's literally just flying by me as I'm talking.
Energizer Bunny.
He is. I can't believe he woke up and he's just running and running and running. I thought he wants to be on Dana's show, I guess.
Yeah. He's like, I like this topic.
Yeah, he's like, where are the cupcakes at?
That was so funny.
Oh my gosh.
Miriam says, wasn't it scary to know? What exactly, which part, Miriam? I'm confused.
And I
Scary
also think,
to know
no, go
what?
ahead. I think Pete, the eggs on this little guy, some of the mischief he gets into, he doesn't get into by himself. I'm just gonna put that out there right now. Because they and he makes it very clear that someone is provoking him to do these things. So I think
Well,
that's true.
the doctors and professors that I worked with that specialize in studying some of this stuff say that up until the age of 5, all kids are highly intuitive with psychic abilities. But after the age of 5, I mean, some more than others, but after the age of 5, it tends to get taught out of most
Yes.
children because they get indoctrinated with what they're learning in the world.
I'm sure that's what happened to me too, and you, and all of us.
Unless we have experiences and we keep on,
Yeah, you
staying
had an
open in one way.
experience. Yeah.
Or, some kids are just open to things. I'm just saying, unless kids are open or they have experiences that force them to keep looking or stay open. Miriam says Jenny was saying that she knew.
Maybe that I knew that he was gonna pass. It was terrifying. It was because I was in the second that it happened, as soon as he had his heart attack, he was out of his body. So I was saying to him, "Are you like, is this really, like, are you okay?" And in my head, I'm like, he's already gone. I have to try and save his life. So for me, what it did, it actually was scary, but it triggered the survival mode because I was able to go into compressions and things. Like, I had gone through first aid training lots, thinking I'll never be able to do this when I'm in the actual situation, but
Yeah.
I was actually able to do it. Um, you know, because I was trying to save his life. I went into that survival mode because I realized he wasn't in his body. I think that also was something that helped me process what was happening. Yeah.
And see, I'm like you with things like that. If there's especially because my Noah was handicapped. Noah had comprehension. He understood lots of things. He had an issue with his throat, so he could not have conversations like we do. Every once
Right.
in a while, I might get a word out of him. It wasn't because he wasn't cognizant, it was because he was not able. Um, because of throat muscles and other issues. Um, he he had adrenal insufficiency, seizures, temperature control problems, just different things. Um, so I was basically an ICU here. Um, so when we would have medical crisis from working at the hospital, doing psych people, Noah having problems, etc. If there was an issue, I went straight in like you, automatic crisis save a life mode, and then I would fall apart
Exactly. Oh yes.
after.
Oh, after. Yeah,
Just like
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happened. Yeah.
just like when the dog did its thing last weekend, started giving CPR to a
Yes.
dog and doing compressions on a dog. My mom started laughing at me. I said,
Yeah.
"Well, I sterilized my mouth and everything, but I'm not going to sit there and watch a dog die if I can do something."
That's exactly right. Yeah. You know what? Interestingly enough, a year before this happened, our golden retriever had a heart attack, and I was home alone, and he fell over and died. And I wanted to do CPR, but he just he died that fast. It was so traumatic for me. I think I cried for 6 months in bed. Pete would like tell me, it's okay, don't cry. And it was the trauma of experiencing it, but it, it was almost deja vu when it happened with Pete in the same, spot in the same, it was like preparing me, honestly, because I handled it better with Pete than I did with the dog. I mean, because I guess everything, like I say, happens for a reason. I mean, it's not good. It's not easy,
No.
but it happens.
And then when you feel like you have tried everything you could.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So,
couldn't fix that situation. Earlier this year, Billy was. I looked over at him and he just looked funny, and I realized he was choking and he wasn't even saying or doing anything. And I did the Heimlich, like the baby Heimlich, and it just shot right out of his throat. And instantly, all I felt was just this overwhelming sense of, I was able to fix that this
yeah.
time. As some things are just out of your control.
Miriam said, let me pull her up. Oop. Miriam said, witnessing someone die is the hardest. I was next to
Oh
my
yeah.
dad when he passed.
It's hard because, and then you don't realize it, when they were showing the images of George Floyd on the internet, and I saw it, and
Oh my
I went into
God.
convulsions. I shook. I went into convulsions. I cried for about 45 minutes, and I think it's because it was triggering all of those memories. It was just so hard to watch, I think, for everybody. But yeah, I mean, you don't forget something like that.
Yeah, it triggered me too. And it triggered me and all of us, I think, because you're watching a human
Yes.
intentionally
Yes.
harm another human.
Instead of doing everything they can to stop it, like what
Yeah.
instinct would tell you to do, right?
Oh, my daughter and her friends are coming up.
Yay!
Hello, hello, hello. What are you young ladies doing tonight?
Hi.
Where are you?
Hello.
Hello. Have you come to add to the chat? Or what are you doing?
I think she's frozen.
Okay. Hello? Oh, she left.
Oh, we're too much for her. Too much for her.
But, I mean,
Billy,
I want to know. What?
I just told Billy it's past his bedtime. He goes, eh.
I'm Italian.
He's laughing at me.
But it's listen to him. Is he dancing?
Yes, he actually is.
When my grandmother passed away, when she finally passed, sometimes even when you do not want people to pass, it can be beautiful in an odd way because as much as you don't want them to go, sometimes the room feels different and you can feel their energy pass through you. You know what I mean?
I've heard that. I haven't had it happen to me, but I've heard.
One of my grandmothers, when she passed away, um, it felt like a buzz of electricity when she passed through me. I mean, my chair kind of went back a little bit, which was weird because she was like, both of my grandmothers were sweet, don't get me wrong. But this one particular grandmother was like the sweetest woman God ever put breath in.
Aww.
Just real easy and easygoing and sweet and would cook for everybody and you know
Yeah.
if you got her to say a curse word she'd giggle. You know?
like I just did.
Yeah. So to feel that buzz when she left her body, it shocked me. And it was sort of funny. I mean, it wasn't funny she left, but the afterthought of it, reflecting
Mm-hmm.
on it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's different for when you talk to hospice nurses. If you ever look for
Oh,
a video of hospice nurses or talk to them, they'll tell you that they have experiences when people do leave their bodies if they're in the room.
yes. Yes, I hear that from hospice workers that like they have a lot of incredible stories. They don't doubt it. They don't doubt it.
Ma Harper says, let me pull her up. Oh, why did it flick on me? I told my mom that it was okay for her to go and that we would all be fine. It felt that she left instantly.
Yes, they
Yeah,
do.
sometimes they want your permission. Sometimes I've been told they don't want their family around.
Yes, a lot of people do wait to be alone because they don't want their family to experience it. I feel like that's what my dad did. I was the only one that wasn't really around. I showed up 45 minutes late because I was out of town, um, and was told at that point that he'd already passed, and I was just so upset. But in looking back, hindsight, it was much better that way. I wouldn't have handled it mentally very well. And it was a situation like Ma said that my mom told him, it's okay, you can go. He waited for my mom to tell him it was okay to go, and then he
Uh,
left.
Miriam says you want to end their suffering. Uh, we're all here for you. Oh yeah, but she had made a statement that you wanted to end their suffering, and I didn't want my grandmother to go, but I didn't want to watch her day after day suffer.
Exactly. Oh yeah, my dad had lung cancer. We found out on Christmas Eve, and he passed away January 3rd. So a week later, and everybody thought that was so tragic. And I thought my dad wouldn't have had it any other way. I mean, he had it before that, but they didn't realize it. And in a week he was gone. He wasn't about to sit there and suffer. That's not what he's about.
Yeah,
So I mean, as shocking and hard as it was for us all to process, please let it be like that for me too, where you're not suffering. Like, I think we don't no nobody wants to see someone they love suffer. Nobody wants to see their cat suffer, their dog suffer, let alone someone they love. So
and I
um
have to tell people in the chat that and again, I told them earlier I didn't know if you were going to come on, but I didn't want to speak for you or tell your story because it's yours. So I'm glad that you're telling. But it, even though I didn't want to lose my baby, she didn't want to lose her husband. If we had our ruthers and we could hold them here, we'd rather. But
oh gosh, yeah.
since we cannot, the fact that we can still have some form of a relationship is huge,
Yes.
huge. And like I told everybody last week, Eden kept begging for a sign for herself, just for her own self, that wasn't shared between me and Eden and Stephen. She wanted one just from sister to brother and ended up finding something in a lake. She had this feeling she needed to go to the lake and found a coconut with $21 in it in a silk cloth with a coconut on 2017 that she found. He passed away at 21 on 2017.
You
And
mean the money was from 2017?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So he's saying, hey sis, I'm here.
is this a
I
good
got
enough
your back.
sign? You coconut head. I mean, Ian says, sorry, we tried to join because Jenny had a story to tell about the topic, but we're having a bonfire with her parents at their house right now, and there's no connection. Love you.
I thought they were at a bonfire. Her friend Jenny, right?
Yeah, yeah. I got a friend Jenny. She got a
I
friend Jenny.
know.
We special. We
My
both got.
name, I went by Jenny more so because my best friend's name is Jen. So it was confusing. And we actually were roommates in university. So I just kind of reverted back to Jenny like I was in childhood, just to distinguish between us.
Oh, Ma Harper said, I totally get that. Not paid by Monique. And then she goes, wow, that's amazing. I got chills from that. You got chills from what, the coconut and the money, Mile Harper? Is that what you're
That
saying?
coconut's beautiful.
Yeah. And then, my son will play, he'll make his toys go off,
Yeah.
especially on special holidays, birthdays, certain things that are going on in the house to let us know he's around,
Did you?
especially his toy that talks.
That's so cute. And then you said, like, yeah, that toy that talks and says things that it's not supposed to say.
Yeah, it's like it usually says just certain words, but
Yeah.
its most recent thing that it says, "Look, I can fly. Hey, I can fly."
Yeah. That's Noah.
Yeah, or
Guys,
another
did
one
you?
will say, "I love you," and it's not programmed to say, "I love you."
Aww. That takes energy for him to do that. That's so cool.
Yeah, huge energy. Look, our loved ones can manipulate energy. They used to could manipulate light bulbs a lot easier when they were remember the light bulbs that had the filaments that used to have the two things with a little filament between it.
Yes.
They can
Pete
they can manipulate
always
what?
I didn't say anything. Oh, my cat's talking.
I thought you said Pete something something.
Pete was saying, Pete was messing with the lights in Billy's room last summer all the time. It was so obvious. And then I was telling you earlier the story, what he's done twice now. Okay, let's just say when Pete was alive, he'd like to take a book to the bathroom and pretty much spend like 2 hours in there. So when I would say to the golden retriever, when I would say to the dog, "Where's Daddy?" no matter where he was, he'd check the bathroom first. Like that's just where he was. So when I'm in the bathroom, the toilet paper roll will be completely like, a full new toilet paper roll, and it will unravel the entire roll. And it's happened twice in two different houses. And that happened to the point where I called my mom once and said, come here, because I was at her house and she watched the whole thing unravel too. So there's no denying that I just knew Pete was sitting there doing it. And it was so funny to me. Like he does things that are really, really, really weird. And I'm like, this is so supernatural. But those were the first things he started doing that was like, okay, do you see this? See what I can do?
And it really opened my eyes being in that parents group that lost their children. There are so many things that people we love try to send us messages that we overlook or try to deny it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it
Yep.
really is the
Because
truth.
I kept seeing birds and I was just saying, oh, they're just birds. So one day, this cardinal literally just flew into my face into a window and just bang, like just bashed into the window right in front of my face. And I'm like, gee, I wonder if that was a sign because I was ignoring the signs.
If you ask, not for a crazy, crazy sign, but if you ask somebody you love for a certain sign, look for it.
Yes, because I said, I was in the car driving once and I said, Pete, this was right after he passed. I said, if you believe now, because he didn't really believe in all of the afterlife and all that. I said, if you believe in God now, I was like, give me a sign. And within 30 seconds, this song comes on the radio. You know that song, Spirit in the Sky? It
Yeah.
came on and I just went, you've got to be kidding me. I couldn't believe it. It was so, I got goosebumps from head to toe. He was like, he confirmed, and I just remember screaming with joy. I was just so excited.
Right after
And
my
then within
dad.
30 seconds.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying he answered me within 30 seconds. I thought, wow.
Right after we had my dad's service, my mom needed some, I don't know if she needed food or I needed food, but we went to the grocery store to pick up some things. And I asked for a sign before we went in the grocery store. I said, Dad, can you just give us a sign to let us know you're around? Mom really needs to hear it. Well, the grocery store back to back played 2 songs with heaven in the lyrics.
Aw, and see, you have to listen. You have, like, you notice that.
You don't hear 2 songs back to back talking about heaven.
No.
In the grocery store. And I never hear them after that.
Exactly.
Because I started paying attention.
It's that knowing when you hear it and you go, gee, I wonder if you're thinking, then somebody's put that thought there, you know?
And then I would hear a song and I would think, Noah's talking to me. And I would say, Noah, every time when I would get in the car, if this song plays first, I know it's from you. Yes, and it would happen over and over and over and over again.
Yep.
So you have to pay attention to things like that. People that you love can utilize energy so much easier, but it takes energy for them to get signs and signals to you. It's not a woo-woo thing. It's not a woo-woo thing.
No.
I'm trying to... Why does this have to happen? Where it takes... Anyway, you can't see it because it's too little, darn it.
It's because we just can't believe it. Because I know it happens, and I still just can't believe it. So when I didn't know it happened, I definitely didn't believe it.
I mean, Noah would do things like, I've taken a picture on Instagram, and it's way down the line. I was trying... Here's Noah. Somebody asked me. My son was 21, but he looked 7 or 8. Oh, there he is.
He's such a precious soul.
Can you guys see him?
Yes, very clearly. It's a good picture.
So, Noah was 21 when he left, and Eden was 15 at the time, so it was a little over 3 years ago. Oh, I hate it when they go dark so fast. Woo.
Yeah, it just did.
Yeah,
it's okay. We saw it. It was a good picture.
So anyway, she hasn't started really processing it till this year because she tried to say so stoic about it, and then I was like, I can't be a checked out mom because I still have a daughter at home that needed me.
And that's the thing. That's the thing about grieving is sometimes it doesn't happen right away. That's when my dad passed away the 10 years prior. I don't think I actually grieved that until I was going through it, 10 years later. You have to face it eventually. And it's so beautiful when you can connect with them again once you do.
So in this group, they would call upon me to do special meditations to connect with the children.
Yeah.
And so I would do it to where they're able to go spend time alone and connect with their children, and then I bring them back out of it. But I was shocked. It was like helping parents heal online. I was shocked that there was such a huge community, and I found them, and there's another one called Voices of Our Angels. But when I went in, you're talking about doctors, lawyers, white-collar workers, blue-collar workers, people from all over the world, and you go in there, and there's this clear understanding, every single one of them. I have not heard one of them say they have not experienced a connection or signs of their children. Not one.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And it was amazing to be there.
Yeah, that would be.
Because I'd gone to other groups, and as painful and gut-wrenching as it is, the parents want to drown in it, drown in the grief of it.
Yes. Yep.
And in drowning in it, you have to stay in the how they died mode.
Exactly, which is dark. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, we got a little off, but the near death experience and the shared death experience, I would like to know in the comments below if someone's watching this, if you have questions about it, if you've had this experience, what it was like for you, or in the chat, have you had anything close to it? Have you been with someone? I know a couple of you have said it. Miriam has said it. Have you been with someone as they are passing? Have you experienced anything if you were with someone? Or have you experienced anything like a sign from them after they have passed? Or if you've wondered if it's a sign?
Right.
Or do you want to know, how you can recognize it? Just curious. Lots of videos here on YouTube on that subject. Thank you, Ma Harper. I have seen some of them, but to have your own when you're 12 years old, and at that time, like I said, there was no information on it, no computers, and then to end up in a class with somebody that was one of the world's experts on it, it was a lifesaver for me because I thought I would be cray-cray because I held it in for so long.
Yeah.
When you have something like that happen and you have a book to read, but you don't really have anybody to talk to about it, it messes with you.
You want to know what you just made me think of? When my father passed away, he actually had a massive heart attack 2 years prior. And he, I believe, had a near-death experience because when he woke up from it, he was in the hospital for a few days. But when he came out of it and woke up, he immediately asked for his dad, where his dad had gone, because he had just been talking to him. But his dad had passed away. My grandfather had passed away years before. So we instantly knew he had been somewhere just then where he was speaking with his father. And then when we told him, your father's actually passed away, he really cried. And it was just, you could see that was a life-changing experience for him. It was very difficult for him to process. And unfortunately, we never really asked him a lot of questions about it because at the time we didn't understand it and he didn't even understand it and he experienced it. So like you're saying, it's sometimes very hard to process, but I mean, I think it was really positive for him because it definitely changed his outlook on life. It just, even though he didn't understand it, he had a deeper understanding of unconditional love because he had been there.
And, it's my understanding too, like, my dad passed away a few years ago, and it is my feeling that my dad helps people on the other side, but he helps people here from there.
Oh, that's confirmation. That was confirmation.
Uh-oh, he's mad.
Yeah, he just decided he wants mama.
Aw. He says, it's time, Mom.
Yeah.
Let me go. Aw.
Hi.
Billy. Hey, Billy. Are you okay? Is that Billy Bear?
He loves Dana's voice. He loves your voice.
Hey, Billy. Hey, Billy. Did you eat cupcake last week?
He says thank you. Anyway, I'm actually going to go put him down because it is getting late here and he's getting tired, thankfully. But thanks for letting me come on and talk about this because it's a beautiful topic. It's so, just heaven. It's beautiful. It's love. Yeah.
Oh, bye. Bye, Billy.
And on that note, we love you. Bye.
Love you too. Bye-bye. It's kind of like I'm not ready to go yet. I'm not ready to die. But maybe we should have more in our world in general, more conversations about life and death. You know what I'm saying? So death is not such a taboo subject. I would like to hear any experience of people crossing over to the other side or what we think or heard what the other side is like. I talked about it a little bit earlier about we have jobs and we have the capability because we are part of God and we are able to create with our energy. So we can create a home if we feel we need a home or we don't have to have a home. We can travel just through thoughts. We can think about where we want to go and travel, like fly, but we don't really have wings. We can fly, so to speak. Um, I was telling them angels, my experience, they're wings, but it's wings of light, not really feather wings. But the colors are the most rich and pure and colors we don't have here. What's that word? I can't see. Oh, gotta put my glasses on. I'm blind. Blind as a bat. Or bat's blind? I don't know. Bilocate? Do they make me look smart? I need to clean them. Might start wearing them. I gotta get new ones. My bulldog! I knocked my other ones off today. And my bulldog chomped them. Chomped them right on up like a toy. Oh, yeah. Bilocate. Yeah. We can actually be, from my understanding, a part of us, our consciousness can be there and here with those we love at the same time for short periods of time because of the amount of energy it takes. You know, my mom's always worried when I try to talk to her about some of it. Well, I don't believe they're down here walking on earth. I believe they're happy in heaven. Why would they want to be down here watching over us and worrying? And I'm like, I want to explain to her, they're not here hanging out, walking on earth, worrying about us. That's not how it works, Mom. They're able to like be two places at once almost, or spend a little time here and spend some of their energy here, expend some of it, and be where they are. They're not hanging out here. Hello, Adam Harris. I'm so glad you're here. Yes. Yes, Mom Harper. Yes. Exactly. And that's why it takes a certain amount of energy. Exactly. And manipulate electricity. Not that they can't manipulate other things a little bit, it's just easier to me with the electricity. And I was talking about the old light bulbs that has a little filament in the middle. It used to be easier for them to manipulate lights that way. But with it and get them to blink and stuff. The new LEDs is a little harder. They might get them to blink a little, but it's more difficult. Pete said, let me see. See, what? I need to blow everything up, girl. Pete said he's working in heaven sometimes and it's like an alarm goes off because I'm loud and it's like she loves you. And he said it's sort of embarrassing. And I love the butterflies. His job's to help computer gamers with ideas. Yes, just like there are people, souls in heaven, that still help artists, inspire rappers and musical artists and painters and people who construct buildings, stuff like that. Yes, that's Jenny M that was up here with me. So everybody has a job. Like my friend Doris, the lady that was like my second mother, she helps babies like toddlers at Passover. She kind of escorts toddlers in and helps them adjust. especially the ones that were harmed by their moms. Ugh, I don't like that. But nobody would be better at it than her, let me tell you. And there are levels, soul levels, of where somebody might start out at. Energetic levels. You know how I was talking about raising your vibe, your vibratory level? If you're a low level person, your energetic level may start here. If you haven't done a lot of good things on earth, it may start off at a lower level energy where things won't be as bright and shiny. Yes, it's like we have our service that we offer in life and our service to profession on. Yes, exactly. But it's not something like when we're there, we're like, ugh, I've got to do this job. I hate it. No, it's part of what your soul purpose was and what would make you so happy and that you loved and you want to do. So it's a loving, something that you just want to do. And you kind of do it your own way, if that makes any sense. Through this topic, yeah. Look, if I beg people, I wanted this whole channel to be about topics and commentary, and give people advice. And I don't think people are getting the message, kind of. And I kind of don't know how to get the message to people. And see, I don't have a community tab because I don't have 1,000 subscribers yet where we can communicate back and forth. So I really want people to utilize the comments below. So anything you ask me that you want me to do, put it in the comments below, or slip me a DM, or slip in my DMs. No, put it in the comments below. Say, hey, Dana, dear Dana, let's talk about this some more. Let's talk about this topic. Let's do this. Whatever. Yeah, let's do it. I'll do it. I'm open. Because I want to go down the rabbit hole and explore things with you. I want to answer your questions. If I don't know the answer, I'll find it. If you have information and oh, Shader, thank you so much, and you want to share your experience, I want to listen. I want to hear. I'm sure everybody else wants to hear. I also want to be a service leader. It's part of my calling. You know, God told me to lead with love. I want to be a service leader. I want to make a difference. I'm still doing that, doing acts of kindness every day that I said I would start on Jenny's birthday. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm going to do it every day. It doesn't have to be about money. Even if it's small, I'm going to do it. I hope people will do it with me. But yes, getting back, please utilize the comments below. Make comments, suggestions, what you want to hear about, what you want to talk about. I'll throw it on my calendar and we'll do it. And I want to make a reminder too that at 250, Jenny, you may have to remind me, or JC Bear or somebody, at 250 subscribers, wasn't it? I was going to give away an hour, 2 hours total of either guided meditation or hypnosis or coaching, personal, on Skype, freely. And at 500 subscribers, I'm giving away an hour of Beachbody on Demand and an hour of hypnosis or guided meditation or coaching. No, 2 hours total. But you get to choose between those three things. whichever one you think you need. So I'm giving away 2 of those and Beachbody on Demand at $2.50. I'm giving away 2 of one each. Am I confusing myself? You get to pick from one of those 3 things, but I'm giving away 2. But I'll do giveaways all along because I just genuinely want to help people. But yes, I want to build this community. I want to listen to you. I want to find out what you want to hear, where you need help, where you can help me, where we can teach each other things. I also want to get more subs. I'd like to get a couple more subs. But it, really needs to be people that come here on the regular. But I'm not that big yet, so I really started this to use my education, use whatever I know to try to make a difference. I'm like a jack of all trades, a specialist in some, not in all. But why not use what I know and put it out there, right? So I'm here for you. Your channel and topics are really great, and you make people feel better and have a calmness that, aw, Adam, you are precious. Thank you so much. I need all of them, Miriam says. When I hear Jenny's name tonight, I keep hearing, dun, 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 dun. I'm just Jenny from the block. Dun, dun. At 250 subs, Dan is giving away 2 hours of guided meditation or hypnosis or coaching. And at 500, I'm giving away Beachbody on Demand and an hour of 2 hours, one each, an hour each, like one to each person. Like two, yeah, I'm making myself crazy. I can't even think. Dear Randy, can you also do meditation relaxation methods to deal with stress? Yes, I can. I can do meditation or hypnosis, whichever you want. Guided meditation to connect with people you've loved that passed over. I can do meditation for stress. I can do hypnosis to lose weight. I can do kind of name it all as far as hypnosis and guided meditation. I'll tell you if I can't do it, but I can do most of it as far as topic wise. So let me know. The only one I do not like to do, I'm picky about doing unless you're with me or I know you well, is past life. Thank you, Jenny M. Thank you so much. You are big tip. Thank you, Miriam. You know what? I love you all so much. I can be having just a hard day or whatever, and I come in here and I can feel the love. I can feel the love. You are my tribe. And I think soon I am going to create a cup. If I don't have any merchandise, I'm going to at least create a cup that says, your vibe attracts your tribe. Because I heard one of my tribe in here saying it out loud in another community saying, your vibe attracts your tribe. I was like, hey, girl. I'm the one that says that. But it's okay. At least she's putting it out there. Hopefully people will get the message. Yeah, but I'd like to do it. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Let that be our mantra. Let us be the calm, zen, feel better community. So if we are in a stressful world, we can breathe in here, right? I think I'm going to change my background too. I think I'm tired of it. A little too brown for me. I think I need some color. I think it prevents me from wearing printed shirts. But insofar as people passing over, I'm not ready to die, but I'm not scared to death anymore. I don't think I've been scared of death for a long time. I think having that, yes, the butterflies, I'm so grateful for that. I'm the dragonfly with my butterflies. Um, it has made me a lifelong spiritual thinker. What did I just say? Not a spiritual thinker, a spiritual seeker. I think I need to stop talking in a different accent because my accent is starting to talk like mush. I can't understand myself anymore. I've been a lifelong spiritual seeker, always trying to understand people and how their emotions affect them and how pain affects everybody. Your emotions basically run your life. It's true. How you feel, what you think about yourself or somebody else, what your intentions are for your life, for other people, how you're trying to live your life, whether your intentions are for the greater good and are made out of love, or your intentions are for your greater good and everything comes secondary, right? Only you really know that, unless people get to know you really well. So, we're just going to be ourselves in here. We're just going to strip it down, be ourselves, find some answers, find some truths, love on each other, share problems if we need it. And if you have a problem that's bugging you, ask me. If I can help you, let me help you. If I have the answer or some advice, you can take my advice or throw it away. Maybe I can help you. If you don't want to ask on here, send me a DM. If I can help you, I'd love to. Know what I mean? Don't feel like you have to be in the world by yourself. And please, I would love, if you're interested in certain things, please tell me. Yes, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Is there any question about near death experience or shared death experience or life and death that you were thinking about or wanted to ask about? As far as my experience or what I know, I mean, in a perfect world, gosh, I wish I could take a clip of what's in my head, what has been embossed in my head that I could show you, because there is no, or I wish I could draw it even, but there is nothing I can show you that comes close to it. Now, but I take that back. The colors might come close to it. I haven't seen it in a bazillion years. I don't know if the colors come close to it or not. What dreams may come, the colors might come close, but not, if that makes sense. If I remember, that's kind of a depressing movie. I don't know. I'd have to go look at it again. Because my experience wasn't depressing. I didn't get to see a whole lot because it wasn't time for me to be there. I got to see glimpses. But you know what? Thinking back, it's really impressive that building looked like a really embellished and structured Greek building with columns. Because now, as an adult, it makes me think about the buildings and the creations on the earth that were created way before we had all of the equipment, like the pyramids and all of the Greek buildings back in the day? Think about it. How did they create them like they did when they didn't have all of that machinery? It is astounding, right? So to have a building like that, where I saw, it had to be what is on Earth had to be inspired by what's on the other side. Had to be inspired there first. Everything that's here that we have created, you realize everything is atoms. Everything looks hard, right? This looks hard. This stone looks hard. This looks hard. Everything are little atoms moving if we stick it under a microscope. Tiny, tiny little atoms that are moving, molecules. We just can't see it. So they look stable to us. If you get down to the nitty-gritty, maybe there is more real than here. Maybe there's more real than here. And this is just, like we've said, school, an experience we need to learn so we can grow more and do whatever we have to do to keep the cycle going, to help souls grow, to help the world expand, to help knowledge keep going, to help science keep going. Just curious. Am I going to see my dad and Noah again? Yeah. In some ways, I have. It opens up. The more open you get, it is amazing. It opens up. Do you question yourself a million times over? Yeah. Because, first and foremost, I was a science girl. Trusted science. I wanted to be able to touch everything to know it was real. So let me ask you this as we start to wrap up. Right now, as we speak, can you touch God? If you believe in God, can you touch God? I feel like in my own ways I can. But let's be real. Like you touch your chair or your desk or your bed, can you touch God? Can you touch love? How do you know love is real? I believe love is real. Love is real. Can I touch my son right now? Like I touch this cup. You know? No. But is he still alive to me in a different way? And I can feel him from, yeah. This is the hardest thing for me to explain in it. And it's different than losing my dad. I am still connected to my son like it is an invisible silver umbilical cord that I can feel in some inexplicable way. there are things on video I could even probably show you, but I don't want to. I don't want to use them as a sideshow. It's special to me right now. You know what I mean? But I know, 100%. You can ask anybody in our family. We still have a relationship. We still light a candle in front of his picture every night, still blow it out, tell him good night and love him. Just like I do my daughter. I don't have to blow out a candle for her, but that light represents his essence still here with us. Some people might think it's crazy. That's okay. That light represents his light to us. That's how we do we. Family of four, that's how we do we. So we can't touch love. We can't touch God. We can't touch our continuing relationships. So that does not mean it's not real, right? There are things we cannot strictly explain just by pure experiment. Some things we can. You have to trust your gut and your soul and yourself. You have to trust your faith and move forward fearlessly. And sometimes you have to not give a damn what people think about you. You know, you know, you know you. So I appreciate all of you from the deepest core and the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you for letting me share hard things. And I appreciate you for coming on here and sharing yourself and being brave and opening your heart to me and just helping me form this community. You will never know how much you mean to me. And please, 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 please like and subscribe. Share with your friends if you want to. And throw the comments down. Let's get some topics rolling. Let's talk about whatever we want or need to talk about. As long as it's not, dark and mean and all that stuff. I mean, even if you want to talk about certain cases, we can look at those and talk about them. You know what I mean? So let's look at different things and open up the rabbit hole. I love you all so very much. I will see you guys Wednesday night. I'll look at some of your comments and see what we want to do. And in the meantime, big kisses to you. And just remember, your vibe attracts your tribe. Bye, everybody. Thank you so, so much. Bye, bye, bye. I love you. And here we go. I think I'm getting better at pushing these buttons. Yeah? Bye.